I wasn't really planning on doing another one of these track breakdown, how it's made type of videos. Figured that no one's really interested in watching these, so I figured why'd bother and save the effort. Until I saw a comment recently, just to kind of paraphrase what they said. It went something like, I'm interested in watching these because with how much AI is taking over the music landscape, it's probably more important than ever to show off your projects and kind of prove your authenticity. And I thought, you know, you bring up a pretty good point. It's kind of like, why not show off your work? You put so much effort into your art, and why not, you know, show the people how it's made? Show the people your process and what you put into making your art. Not that I really need to prove to anybody that I'm not using any AI generated slop. I don't know if like I have to prove that I'm not. Maybe I do, I don't know. With how rampant AI generated stuff like Suno is like taking over streaming services, maybe I could just take a few minutes, you know, to make something, put something out there to just show, no, it's okay guys, no AI here. Anyway, let's run through this project, or at least this track that I named One Love. It's a hard techno schranz track. It's, I may not be saying schranz 100% accurately, but it's, come on, give me a break. It's a really hard word to say. All right, so I got a bunch of kick layers here. I have one track for the main kick, and then I have a second track that I labeled fun kicks to use as kind of fillers and variations for the pre-drop and breakdown. This is what the main kick sounds like. Sample from Raveyard. I've got a kick rumbles group with 3 parts. Got a noise sub, kick sub, and a kick crunch. I picked this up off of Virtual Riot, I think. It's actually a white noise sample. There's like a low pass here just to capture the sub frequencies. It sounds like this. Pretty compressed white noise sub, and then layer that with a kick sub, kick crunch for texture. And you put these all together and sidechain them to the kick. I use Shaperbox to do that. That's the rumble. You put the kick and the rumble group together. And then I have another couple of layers here. There's the kick top. Just for transient. Kick top loop. Just kind of give that like galloping feel to the kick. There's a amp and delay on here. So if you just listen to the kick top loop, kind of sounds like a, you know, like a horse galloping. Oh yeah, and there's a texture group here just to, you know, give the kick some high-end grit. Noise samples that I grabbed. So then all together the kick group will sound like this. All right, last in this group is the fun kick. So there's just a bunch of various kick sounds here. I just picked ones that I thought sounded funny and cool. I put them in the pre-drop section just because, you know, a lot of these kind of tracks just have some like funny, outrageous pre-drop or breakdown section. You know, stuff like that. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel I just think that like hard style kicks like that are like funny. Maybe my humor is just really fucked up. All right, the drums here, I've got a few groups of hi-hats, snares, like basically just stacking a bunch of closed hi-hat loops, open hi-hat loops. Like this is a genre that just calls for this kind of stuff. So we'll hear what the first group sounds like. The second group sounds like this. And group 3. And got the snare that just kind of acts like a clap. There's actually like two layers here. There's actually a clap sample and a snare sample stacked on top of each other. Well, in this part of the hats group has a ride in there. All right, and all these together And you'll just have these drums pretty much playing throughout the track along with the kick. I got another snare here just to use as a filler, and also for the build. Got a couple of percussion loops that I've distorted with Decimort and OTT. This one sounds like it's kind of more subtle than the hats, but adds like some texture to the background. This one has a filter delay and amp. And they're both sidechained the kick, so they're gonna get this like pumping effect. So yeah, then you'll have like all these layers together, play together like this. But you can kind of hear the difference. Adds a little more texture there to the back. All right, we got synths. I had this acid track that I never ended up using, so just muted those. I have 2 tracks, ARP group here. It sounds like this. You hear this throughout the track. And there's pads here. Used Spire for this one. Alright, and for the ARP, I think I also used, Spire for 1 layer? Yeah, I used Spire for the first track and Serum for the second. Yeah, so like 2 plucks just on top of each other. I think this was like played on a lower octave. Give it some more like bass. This like the higher end, and then this one is like the lower end. And together. And there's the respace. This doesn't just play at the break. You hear this, throughout the track too. And this will play along like with the pad and the ARP as well. It's getting a sidechain. And the sidechain's turned off during the breaks. Alright, then there's this vocal chop that I did. I just took some vocal. The original sounds like... Do I even have the original track? Yeah, so the whole vocal sample sounds like this. Actually, let's play that without the performance shifting. So originally it sounds like that, and I played around with the performance and the pitch to just make it sound a little different, and it sounds more like this now. Put a lot of stuff on the track to process this vocal here, and then during the track I would just like chop this thing up into pieces. There's not really like a system that I had to decide like what parts to play. I kind of just went by vibes, and if it sounded fine to me, then it just kept it. And I didn't want to like repeat stuff too much. That's why you see like a lot of pieces of the vocal deactivated. I would just like go through and turn on and off some of these clips Because if you have too much of it playing, it's gonna make it like too cheesy, I guess. I think when I had too many of these clips playing throughout the track, it just sounded really corny. So I tried to take a bunch out to just, give the track some more space. Yeah, but these two like stab tracks, they're kind of more screeches actually. This one uses Serum, and this is the sound that you hear starting from the break going into the drop. Yeah, so I kind of introduce the sound in the break, and then I'll play more of it as it goes along further into the break, into the build. And I kind of also use it as a bit of a call and response in the pre-drop section. And in this track, I just use it once, and it's just like a chord stab, something from Spire. Just a bit of like a surprise element sort of thing. There's a bunch of effects here. I won't go too much into detail. Like they're not like that important or that crucial to the track. That does give some. I mean, risers are important, I guess. The up the intensity. This is kind of. This sample is just to like give some atmosphere texture to the break, because otherwise it just like feels super empty without it. And with it. And then there are impacts, cymbals, sweeps. Like I try not to go too crazy with effects with this genre, because you don't really need a lot with this, which I honestly appreciate. Like laying down effects is like one of my least favorite things about putting together a track. A lot of it really comes down to just like decision making, like, oh, do I want to put this impact here or do I want to put it somewhere else? Like there's a lot of trial and error and guesswork that goes into that. I'll go to the mastering chain, I guess. I've got good old Ozone doing a lot of the work, and then I have a clipper here. I love using the Kilohertz free clipper now that they have a free one. I gotta say though, the whole like AI thing with Ozone, it's really just fancy marketing of saying that they're using some adaptive algorithm. It's not really like AI per se. It's not generative AI like Suno or anything like that. Like they more so use it as a marketing thing, before Gen AI was a thing. And all it does is just listen to a part of the track, the section that you select, and then make decisions based on what it's getting in the signal, and then it'll make some suggestions and I'll do some adjustments based on what it thinks I should do. And instead of using the maximizer, I use the clipper. I've been liking that a lot, and I've been just finishing that off with Pro L, and then put it all together and it sounds like this.
Keep the party going. One love. One rain. They take over.
I'll play this section too. But yeah, One Love out now, streaming everywhere. Go listen to it. Appreciate the support. Thanks.